Hi, welcome back. This is Jenn Palmer. I am an intuitive and an energy healer, and I'm so glad you could join me today. I want to talk to you about how to meditate. Meditation is so important. The more you want to develop yourself spiritually, the more you're going to need to really tune into who you are. What is your purpose here? What are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish on earth? Are you stressed? Do you feel like you don't even know who you really are? There's a lot of different reasons why you might want to meditate. So let's dive in. The first thing to really know is, what is your purpose? What are you looking to achieve through meditation? Some people just want to de-stress. They want to feel relaxation and more calm. Maybe they're struggling with anxiety or depression or something like that, and they just really need to let go of whatever it is they're carrying or holding on to. That is a really important benefit, and can't stress enough just how wonderful it is to be able to do that to help your body. Another one really is to just calm your mind. You might be stressing out about something, over processing something in your brain, thinking too much, maybe perseverating on some things. And it's really beneficial to be able to put things on a shelf for a minute and not think about those things. A lot of times, answers to our problems can come when we let go of the thinking about the problem and allow the flow of the energy. And I can tell you, because I used to be a computer programmer, and I find this really funny. I remember sitting at my desk, coding away, trying to figure out a bug in my code. There's always bugs in program codes. There always is. You just assume it's going to happen. And then you test the heck out of your code to try to see if you can break it. And, inevitably you find something that needs to be resolved. And sometimes you hit a problem or you hit a brick wall where you're getting this bug and you don't know why. And you can sit there and pound away, try to figure it out and just spin in circles with it. And it's so frustrating. And what I learned was the best way to find the answer to a bug like that is to just get up, walk away, let it go. And what inevitably almost always happened is, out of the blue, the answer would come to me when I'm not even thinking about it. It would just pop in. And then I was like, oh, okay. I think sometimes we get so spun out in our thoughts that the answers, and maybe it was divine. Back then I didn't even really get into my spirituality, so I didn't understand it, but it probably was some divine answer coming through to help me to not be stressed out. And I kept praying for the answer and I couldn't get it. So what I had to do was relax my mind and move on to something different and just be chilled out. And then it would just come. So there's a great benefit in that. Another thing is, it could just be a spiritual journey you're looking to go on. Sometimes there are certain, maybe shamanic journeys and things you might go on where you would merge with a spirit animal and have it take you on a journey. So there's things like that you could do. Also, just to receive information. Like I said with the code, my mind was going crazy. And if I would have known how to meditate and get spiritual information, I probably would have done it then, where I would be just, okay, let's calm my mind. All right, guides, show me what I need to know about this problem I'm having. So those are just some of the reasons that you might have as goals. But really, it's about you connecting to you, and it's about you really receiving you and understanding you. And that's really what it's all about. And there is a spiritual connection anytime you meditate, because as soon as you calm your mind, another part of you comes forth. We have different conscious awarenesses in our being. And some might say there's like an egoic one, there's a soul one, there's more of a mind one. There's a lot going on in this, what we call a mind, body, spirit complex. And I kind of think about it like there's different points of view. I'm the same person. It's all like I'm a conglomerate of different awarenesses, right? And what you can do is you can choose, okay, now I'm kind of done being in my mind for a bit. I think it's time for me to get into my soul space. And that's really where meditation comes in. And it's so profound because it really helps you get into that soul space. Now, when you start meditating, generally what you'll find is there's guided meditations or unguided meditations. Guided meditations are where maybe you're listening to someone help you through a process. You're stepping down some stairs and you're walking by a river, and so there's always like a visualization, but it's guided for you. Or maybe it's breath work. So they're guiding you in breath work or something like that. So, but there's a guide telling you what to do, which can be really helpful when you're first starting out because uh, a lot of times our minds kind of wander off. And until you learn how to control your monkey mind, a lot of times you need someone else to control it for you a little bit, so you can just not have to worry about wandering off. And even then, sometimes when you do guided meditations, your mind will wander off, but you can then quickly bring it back and then just focus on what the person is saying who's leading or facilitating the meditation. But it's important to know that, there are those options. There are many different types of meditations online. You can find videos all over the place on different types. Um, Play around with it, see what matches. It's really great. And some of them are really profound and more spiritual in nature, and even like a Merkaba meditation or something like that, where you're doing it for more spiritual purposes and growth and development than just stress and relaxation. But it can just change your life and be so amazing. The unguided meditations are more like you're directing yourself, or you are going within, and maybe you're going on that shamanic spiritual journey, and you meet up with uh, your spirit animal, and then it takes you down this path, and then you become an observer of the journey. You aren't even trying to make it happen. But it's like a story that unfolds in your visualization, and it's beautiful. It's really amazing. But sometimes it's really hard to start with that. So if you're just starting out, you might want to look at some guided meditations. If you tend to be really good naturally at meditating or tuning in, then you really probably won't have too many problems with it. But I can tell you, when I was a computer programmer, my mind was constantly going and there was a lot of chatter. And I hear that from a lot of my clients, that there's just too much chatter and they think that they're not good at meditation because of the chatter. What I would say is, it's really important to keep practicing it. Do it often. Do it as frequently as you can, even if it's only for 3 minutes. If you can do 3 minutes doing one of these meditations and really get good at that, where you can just say, you know what, I'm going to put it all on a shelf. And for these 3 minutes, I'm going to focus on this one thing, or I'm going to chant this mantra or whatever. And we'll get into the different types. But it's just really important. Go ahead and challenge yourself. How long? So maybe you master 3 minutes, then you say, okay, now I'm going to do it for 5 minutes, and then now 10, and then now 20. And you don't really necessarily need to do more than a half hour. But if you can build up to a half hour, that would be really great. But if you don't feel like you have the time, or there's always interruptions, or something's always happening, get up first thing in the morning. Make it a part of your morning routine. And don't allow yourself to make an excuse. Just get up and do it. It's a great way to start the day. It's also a great way to end the day. Although if you do it when you're ending the day that way, you might fall asleep. So maybe just try to do it in the beginning if you can. But even if it's in the middle of the day, that still works. So dive in, see what you can do, try different techniques, different types. Don't feel frustrated and think you can't do it, or that maybe you're not getting enough from it, because maybe that's not the right type for you. Okay. So I want to go over the different types. One of the ones that a lot of people know about is called progressive relaxation. It's a really good one because you're focusing your mind and you're focusing your body, and it's really good for your physical body, but it's also good for mental, emotional state as well. And oftentimes what you'll notice is you start at the head and then you work your way down to your toes. And with each one, like, you will engage the muscles and then make it relax. So like, let's say I've worked down, I'm working on my shoulders, I might scrunch my shoulders and then tell it to relax and release all stress. And it's amazing when you do this, you realize how much stress you're holding in your body, right? So you could just progressively go head to toe and feel completely and utterly relaxed. This is actually a good thing to do right before you fall asleep. This is probably the one thing I would say I highly recommend right before you fall asleep, because you will sleep so much better. The next one to talk about is mindfulness. And this is something that a lot of the more Asian cultures will do, where they will go in and just notice their thoughts. It's called Becoming the Observer. And there's a lot of thoughts going on in our background. There's all that subconscious stuff happening, and we don't even realize all the different thoughts we think every day, right? And most of them is probably not even very helpful for us. So becoming aware of your thoughts and becoming the observer of them is really important. And that's a neat way to try to meditate, where you just notice. And that you don't even need to go deep into a meditation. You can just be walking throughout your life and be mindful of what you're thinking. That's a form of the mindfulness meditation. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach this one as well. But it's an important practice because it really helps you question the nonsense that goes on in your brain and where are you really coming from. And it helps you get more into that soul space and out of that subconscious or mind chatter. And it's very helpful in the healing process. Another thing that's often really easy to do is a single focus meditation. And with a single focus meditation, what you would do is you would either focus your thoughts or focus your mind, focus your vision, whatever it is, on a single thing. So a lot of people will do it with a candle or maybe a mark on the wall. And then all you do is you look at that thing, you look at that candle, you look at that mark, or you think that one thought, and then you hyper focus on that. And if anything comes in, like maybe you think, oh, that's right, I have to go grocery shopping later. You just push it out and put it on the side. Something else comes in, you push it out. Something else comes in, you push it out. That's a very common practice, having that mind chatter and learning how to put it on a shelf. It's very important in any type of meditation, learning how to put what's coming in on a shelf, because your subconscious is going to want to keep throwing things at you. And the best thing you can do is train your mind to let it go. Train your mind to let it go. Now, I know you might be someone too, like me, who there's a lot of things going on my to-do list. I live by a to-do list because I'm a very busy person. And if I don't have my to-do list, it starts to play over and over and over in my mind because I'm worried I'm going to forget about it. So if you've got something like that going on in your mind, it might help to write it down and then come back into the meditation. And then if something else comes up and it's really nagging at you, write it down and come back to the meditation. And you might spend 10 minutes doing that, and then you're out of time. And then you might feel like, well, that wasn't a very valuable use of my 10 minutes. I didn't meditate. I didn't do it right. I'm going to say that's not true. You did do it right. And that's exactly what you needed to do. So just know that it's okay. And it's a practice. Meditation is a practice. It's not an outcome. So every time you do something like that, you are training your monkey mind to respond to your ultimate desire and to let things go. And it's a really great spiritual practice, and it's really important for the healing journey. Another thing you can do is mantras. Mantras are the repeating phrase or word. A lot of people will do Om. So if you sit and you just chant Om, and you might try different tones, different tunes, whatever it is, but you just chant it and you get really into it. And then you can even envision that maybe there's angelic energy or vibration coming through your throat as you're singing or chanting these words. And you just say it over and over and over again. And then you feel the vibration in your body. And it's very calming, very centering, very peaceful. And it's also good for clearing your throat chakra. So if you've got issues going on in your throat, like a lot of us do, where you feel like there's a blockage or something else happening there, it's really good to use your voice and to do it in a way that's healing. And then you're throwing these healing energies into the room while you're also opening up your throat chakra with that chant. So I love chanting. I love toning. I think it's a beautiful way to do a meditation. Another thing you can do, and this is also good if you're feeling stuck, or maybe you have a really hard time putting your mind at ease, something you can do is a gratitude meditation, where you just get in a space and you just start thinking of all the things you're grateful for. And even when a problem comes in, you twist it, you turn it, you shape it into something you're grateful for. So let's say, I don't know, maybe there's financial concerns or something like that, and you're in meditation, and all of a sudden we fear of your financial situation comes in, or some sort of a worry or anxiety. It comes in and you just shift it and you're like, I'm so grateful for all the opportunities coming into my life. I'm so grateful for the beautiful abundance of energy coming in. And you just shift it and you change it. So that gratitude energy is really important. That's a great thing to do first thing in the morning, because what you're doing is you're setting your day up and you're bringing forth all this energy to really magnify and amplify the great things in your life. How you start your day really matters. And when you start it with gratitude, you are opening doors for the universe to bring in exactly what you're looking for. Okay. So not that it's a magic bullet and everything's gonna, work in your favor, but it's gonna work better in your favor than if you didn't do that. Okay. Because then it really gets you in that great space. And you start off your day with a really wonderful, open-hearted, centered space. Another thing you can do too is visualization. And I've done this throughout the day. I often do this throughout the day, where I'll take even just a moment to visualize. And again, you have something that you're working towards. Maybe it is finances, since we already used that as a example. You might envision a meeting going really well, or you might envision this money coming in, or you might envision getting a promotion or doing good service work. Maybe it's not about money, but it's just abundance of clients or people in need of some service that you can provide. And just imagine that happening. And, abundance can flow along with that as well. Abundance of finances, abundance of clients, abundance of support, anything that you might need. So when you're in the mindset of that abundance and you visualize it, more things can come. But you might also visualize, maybe a certain chakra is closed. Let's go back to the throat. So if I know my throat chakra is struggling, I might visualize it opening. And then maybe I'll do some chanting. So maybe you mix some of these, and then I'll add in, maybe mindfulness meditation along with this as well. So I can be aware of what could be in the throat, what's going on, what am I thinking in connection with my throat? And, who was it that didn't listen to me, or who was it that wouldn't allow me to speak my point of view? So those types of things, it's all important. There's also movement meditation, and that could involve things like walking or Tai Chi or yoga, where you're moving and you're not sitting there with your eyes closed and you're not necessarily trying to connect in some other way, but you have purpose in your movement and you're not thinking about the grocery list while you're moving. You're centered and focused on the movement. Usually it's more gentle movement, like the Tai Chi or the yoga or something like that. But it could be running or something like that too. I used to be a runner, and when I would run, I would get into that meditative state, and it was amazing. So there's lots of different ways to do it, but do what feels right to you. If it feels good and it helps you get into that state, then that's the right thing for you. The last one I want to mention is spiritual. And so with spiritual connection, it's really more about wisdom, understanding, um, getting deeper into your own personal spiritual belief system, and understanding more about who you are, what was a past life like, what is your purpose here. So you're really just trying to get more information, or maybe do some healing, and but on a spiritual level. So that would be like the shamanic journey, or I'm just getting into a deep, gentle mind state where I can connect with my guides. Maybe you want to get more into like a theta state so you can get information, but it puts things at rest. You're no longer thinking about your world as it is. You're focused in a different space. So that's another way to do it. And you're probably going to be a little bit more advanced or into meditation if you're going to be doing that. And a lot of times they say if you want to develop your intuition, the best thing you can do is meditate, because you need to quiet your mind so that you can get that different frequency of information. And it's all frequency. Okay. So I think that really covers a good basis for you. I would recommend that if you want to start meditating, start with something simple. Do it for short periods of time until you really feel like you can get your mind under control, and do it every day, maybe even multiple times a day. If you only did, let's say, 5 minutes twice a day, where you were starting to really manage your mind, right? Mind mastery. That's really important. It's one of the best things you can do for anything going on in your life is mastering your mind. Master it. Get used to what you're thinking. Understand where it's coming from. Where are the pitfalls? Because a lot of the times what we're thinking is really harming us. If you think you're not good enough or there's some old record playing in the background, that's gonna really keep you from progressing. So what can you do? You can meditate. You can learn to tame the mind. You can learn that the mind doesn't have all the answers, but the soul space does. And so the more you practice meditation, the more you will get into that soul space, and the more answers you'll get, the more solutions you'll have, the more ease and peace you'll feel in your body and in your being. So I highly recommend just starting off with anything here that resonated with you and practice different types and just see how far you can go. Because I bet if you did this every day for even 3 months, you will notice a big shift. And if you're struggling with it, let me know, because maybe you just need a little shift in some of the things that you're doing. It might be you need to lie down. Some people get really uncomfortable when they're in a seated position. Maybe you need to lie down. And normally when you see images of people meditating, they're not lying down, but maybe you're more comfortable if you're lying down, and that would allow you to let go and have a really great meditation. Some people need to sit up, and that's fine too. You got to figure out what works for you. And some people really, they're meant to do moving meditation. Some people are meant to really calm the mind and do that single focus or do a chant. See what works. And maybe multiple things will. And, variety is the spice of life, right? So dive in and have a great time. All right. Let me know what you think. And if you like this, please give me a like and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon. All right. Bye.